Hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. The music was good. I like that one. It went good with the true crime. How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome to another episode of True Crime with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. We have got a lot of things to get into. We got a lot of videos to get into. So I hope you guys are locked in and ready. Let's see, how many do I have up here? Three, four, six of them. I don't think sometimes I'll show them straight off YouTube, but I think all six of them today I have straight from their videos that I actually put together. Um, oh my goodness, man. Every time I click a new tab, I get like a terrible story. This story says parents arrested for 7-year-old's violent hammer. You guys can fill in the rest, fill in the blank. Just oh, thank you, Kimberly. If you're over on Facebook, make your way over. All you have to do is go out of the live that you're in, scroll up, and click on the link that I've already provided there for you. And you can come on over to YouTube if you're on Kick. Hey, Kick. Um, oh, we did that one. Also, enter the chat at your own risk. If you see someone or something you don't like, all you have to do is block them. It's not hard. But if you want to tussle, tussle. We're all adults. This is true crime, so there's really only two rules. No malarkey and no spoilers, please. If you see something that we're talking about and you know this case, watched this case, things like that, don't spoil it. It may be in the video. After the video's over, if it's not been talked about already, then by all means you can add to or whatever. Um, but you guys know that all true crime, in my opinion, are trigger warnings. So we play a little game at the beginning, and after these, we play 2 rounds. After the 2 rounds, I will turn Facebook off. So definitely try to make your way over before these rounds are over. But we play the mugshot game on Time Waster. Um, the Time Waster tab on the Smoking Gun website if you want to play it yourself. You can match criminals or alleged criminals. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty, but you can match alleged criminals with their occupation, the weapon they used, the crime they committed allegedly, all the things. So this one happens to be a weapon. Um, so we have the alleged criminals, just one, two, three, four, and five at the top, and then the weapons that they allegedly used. We got a cell phone, a brick, a big knife, machete maybe, a chair, and a baseball bat, a Louisville Slugger. So who used what? You let me know. I randomly pick. Always remember your choices in case I don't pick yours, because we're not the best at this, but we still play it. So let me know what you think. Just put out there, number one, use the bat. Number three, use the brick. Number four, use the machete. Like whatever you guys think, and I will fill in the blank. We'll figure it out together. And yeah, and we got a lot to get into. Like I said, number two is the bat. All right. Number two is the bat. Got it. Let me pull it up on my phone. A little bit easier that way. Let's see. I have to look at an ad. Oh, bat's number five, somebody said. Four is the brick. Four is the brick. All right. We got brick on there. A couple people saying three is the machete. All right. Now we got the cell phone in the chair. Who's got the cell phone? Who's got the chair? Y'all let me know. Cell phone in the chair. Hey, hey, Rhonda. Oh, somebody said machete number five. One is the chair. That means number five got the cell phone. Let's see. Oh, 1 out of 5. We got the chair. All right, chair for number two. She got the machete. He got the cell phone. Look at his face. He said, "Shit, out of all the weapons, I chose the cell phone." Number four, she said, "Give me that Louisville Slugger." And number five was the brick. So some of you guys had it right. Some of y'all had it right in the comments. Ooh, okay. So we're matching tattoos. Now these I think are a little bit easier because you can kind of see their skin tone. Even though they all look to be white, you can still see the difference in skin tone. Like I can already tell a few of them. But we've got 1 through 5. We've got a corn tattoo, a 9-inch nails tattoo. I don't know what that third one is. I can't read it. And then the fourth one is an ACDC. And then we got, what is it, Hatchet Man? You got them all wrong. She didn't give me machete vibes either. Not one right for you. You got the bat right. 3 is corn. Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you can tell if you really look at the skin tone. I think y'all can tell who's who. But let me know. Um, like you could tell, like if they have real freckled skin, or if they, if they're like, if they're white but they've got a little bit of color to them. Like I think you could tell if you look. Everybody says 2 is 9-inch nails. Okay. Oh, you think 2 is AC/DC. Now, I think that 2 and 4 are gonna be close because they kind of they both have kind of the same one. Third tattoo is 5. Okay. Oh, you think 5 is AC/DC. AC/DC is 4. And then number 1 is Ratchet Man. Let's see. Oh, 1 out of 5, and it was the Hatchet Man. I knew it. I knew it. 2 and 4. That's what I was trying to say. 2 and 4, I knew were probably going to get dicey there. But number 3 is the tattoo that I can't read, and number 5 is corn. But the guys 2 and 4, we flipped them. So ACDC was for number 2, and 9-inch nails was number 4. So yeah, we flipped them, guys. But like I said, those are the two skin tones that I thought but I think these are obvious. Like her skin tone, I think is obviously her, and then the corn one, I think is him because if you look at the red around like his forehead and cheeks and stuff, same way as his arm. But yeah, no, I don't want to guess. I want y'all to guess. So if you're still on Facebook, it's the end of the road for us. It's the end of the road, guys. So I am going to say goodbye to Facebook and we're going to get into these stories. So definitely come on over to Kick or to YouTube. All right, guys. So now we're there. All right, okay. Let's start off with this because this is a little different um, than what we usually cover on here. I don't even know if this is a crime. I think it probably should be, but this is something that's been going viral. I promise you, I am not trying to rage bait you. I just want to have an open conversation about how y'all feel. After this is over, we'll have the little conversation. And of course, you guys can comment while it's going on. But this is going viral. Let me not do it this way so I can zoom in. Let me do it this way. All right.
Cinnabon employee was fired after she was caught on camera using racial slurs toward a Somalian couple. That video has since gone viral across social media. Reporter Tony Langfellow with the latest.
So far, the GoFundMe for the Somali husband and wife has garnered more than $4,600 out of its $45,000 goal. The fundraiser identifies one of the customers as Faria Ahmed. According to the fundraiser's page, it says the money will be used for legal fees. It's unclear what legal action is potentially being taken, but calls it a fight against racism. The page also says the GoFundMe was started by a cousin of the couple. Meanwhile, the fundraiser for the former Cinnabon worker, who is white, has raised more than $117,000 out of its now $271,000 goal. In this fundraiser's description, the now former worker is simply identified as Crystal. It says funds will go toward helping Crystal land on her feet after being fired. It goes on to say, quote, "No white person should lose their job for refusing to be harassed by Somalians," unquote. Here's what we have learned about the incident. The heated exchange took place Friday at the Cinnabon stand in Ashwaubenon's Bay Park Square Mall. The video shows the stand's worker calling two Somali customers the N-word. She then called herself a racist. The GoFundMe says this ensued after the worker made comments about the Somali woman's hijab. The couple called the employee an idiot, followed by an expletive, and told the employee she was ruining her life and would be fired. The employee continued with more derogatory comments directed at the couple, video and gave them 2 middle fingers. Cinnabon issued a statement to Fox 11 about the incident over the weekend. It says the company is aware of the deeply troubling video involving a former employee at the independently owned and operated Cinnabon bakery in Ashwaubenon. The individual seen in the video was immediately terminated by the franchise owner. The company says their actions and statements are completely unacceptable and in no way reflect the values of Cinnabon, its franchises, or the welcoming environment it expects for every guest and team member.
I'll say that to the whole entire world. Don't be disrespectful.
You ruined your life, by the way.
An employee was fired after a heated argument with a Somali couple over not wearing a headscarf. But the truth is not so simple. Crystal claims that before the video was recorded, the Somali couple harassed and provoked her for not wearing a headscarf, which is why she began recording her response. Despite the heated preamble to the incident, the company swiftly terminated Crystal's employment.
Remember, you can tell without your face. You go and pretend to be 5 different people. I still know who the you are.
The new video reveals that it was the Cinnabon employees who were the victims, and everyone had misunderstood her. In the video, the Somali couple appears to be provoking her on purpose, repeatedly approaching her and even changing outfits to slip back into the store and create a confrontation. In the footage, the Muslim woman, identified by viewers, stands at the counter in a red jacket, constantly moving toward Crystal Wilsey with her phone raised, speaking in a taunting tone. Crystal points at her, stammering in frustration. "You've been here before. You changed your outfit just to come bother me again." Her emotions are clearly breaking down, not in attack mode, but more like someone pushed into a corner and reacting defensively. Meanwhile, the Somali couple keeps pressing her, getting closer, filming in her face, step by step. Every move looks like they're waiting for her to make another wrong reaction.
I am racist. And you are.
So the EBT community's been telling me she used the word. She used the word that you can't say if you're white. This man is sexually harassing her. He's mentioning her body. Oh, you didn't see that part. Let's watch.
Sexualizing your body makes you a better person.
Are you recording?
I'm gonna record you. Yes.
Do you want me to?
Just some context. The Somali couple was telling her that she was sexualizing herself by not wearing a headscarf. So that's what they're talking. That's what he's saying about sexualizing your body. But this to me is a perfect, and like I said, we'll have a little combo after the video, but this is the perfect example of why I always say it doesn't matter who starts something. Like that video about, oh, the Cinnabon employee is actually the victim and all that stuff. I'm sorry, but there is no justification in this world that we should be using the N word as a white person. There is no justification in that. I don't understand. I don't care if they were videoing her. I don't care if they went and changed clothes 5 times. I don't care. But this is, to me, another example, and I'm wondering if this woman knew what was going to happen. Just like, remember the lady in the park who they raised all that money for? What was it? $500,000 they raised for that lady because she used the N word to a kid. And now, guess what happened with this lady? Well, I'll let you watch the video.
Throw water on you?
Why would a man have any thoughts to tell a woman in America that she's sexualizing her body that makes her think she's better than him? She's fully dressed. So who do you think I believe? The white liberal or the Somalian? I'm gonna be honest with you. I rarely agree with liberals. This lady is no longer a liberal. I can guarantee that. All the little we are the world shit, that's out of the window. That's why it's 300,000 right now and going up. And I've donated 5 times at this point. John Paul King, USA. This lady is being railroaded just because she's white. Skedaddle.
Sexualizing your body makes you a better person.
Are you recording?
I'm gonna record you. Yes.
Do you want me to throw water on you? I am racist.
Idiot, for
And
real.
you are.
You are an idiot. No,
I
I'm
am
not.
racist, and I'll say that to the whole entire world. Don't be disrespectful.
You ruining your life, by the way.
Oh, talking about you talk about respect. You talking about respect. You are fired from this place, mother. You're not gonna be working here.
Suck it.
Suck what? Look how you
Suck
fucking look
it.
like.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you, you ugly Get the out of
Ugly?
my face.
Talking about ugliness?
Did I stutter?
You we
Face
not?
for
No,
what?
we not. No, we not.
Because you know damn well you're
Respect.
evil.
Respect. Keep squeezing that caramel. Get the out of here.
That was meant for you.
So there's the video. What do you guys think? Because the woman has raised $117,000 on not GoFundMe, on another site. It's like give go something, go give something. I don't know. She's raised $117,000. Now she got fired immediately from the job, obviously. It was not owned by Cinnabon. It was a private owner of the franchise, but he did fire her, or she fired her immediately. But after getting fired, she's now raised $117,000 for being openly racist. Like, if this is not, again, this is the same type of shit that happened with that lady in the park. The lady in the park called a kid the N word and was proud of it and got on video and was, basically like, yeah, I'll do it again type attitude. And now we have another woman in public saying it, saying she'll tell the whole world that she's a racist, calling them the N word. And I am not saying that their actions were okay either. What they did, changing clothes 5 times to go up and harass this lady, talk about she was sexualizing herself because she wasn't wearing a headscarf, all of those things, I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying that, in my opinion, if somebody pisses me off that is not white or doesn't appear to be white, my first go to, or second or third, or any go to is never, ever, ever going to be to say the N word. I don't care how mad you get me. It's never coming out of my mouth. Like, it's just not. And trust me, I was I don't want to say raised, but from the time I was 11 till I was 22, I lived in probably one of the most racist parts of the country. It's not in me. It's either in you or it isn't. And again, this is why I say, some people are saying, well, she was provoked and show the rest of the video. And this is another example of where people say, oh, she didn't show the whole clip. She didn't give the context. She didn't do this. Show the rest of the video. I don't give a shit about the rest of the video. I don't care. Like, regardless of whether she was provoked or not, whether she started it, we're back in elementary school again. And this is just my opinion. You guys can feel it however you would like. You guys can think that she's completely justified in it, whatever you guys think. But this is just my opinion. Um, in my opinion, there's no justification for using that word. And she said it herself. She is, and she met people are going to say, "Oh, she was being sarcastic, saying she was a racist." No, she was letting you know who she is. She was telling you who she is. Believe her. Believe her. I was told by a customer they hoped I wasn't black when working in customer service. I had to remain professional regardless what I felt. She should have just called the cops and got them kids out of the store, a restaurant, whatever it was. Yeah, it kind of looked like it was like maybe in a mall. They have those Cinnabon places in the mall. But this shit about people saying, "Watch the rest of the video." Oh, you're just gonna post one part of the video? Like when I saw people posted it on TikTok, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're not gonna post it all?" Just like that guy. He was like, the EBT community, which I thought that was strange, because I don't get EBT, and I didn't feel that she was justified in doing what she did. But I digress. That's besides the point. But just like that guy saying, like, he was talking about her body, and he feels that way. Him as a Muslim man feels that a woman who does not cover herself in public is sexualizing her body. That's how he feels. That is how he feels at his core. That is what he is, how he has been raised. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that regardless, we're not in elementary. It's not about who started it or what they did to her. She had so many things that she could have done besides what she did. But then I go back to, are these people, EBT is food stamps, like help from the government collect. They call it EBT in some places. I don't know even what that stands for, EBT. Does anybody know what EBT stands for? I have no clue. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. Um, excuse me. She could have removed herself. She could have called security. She could have called the police. She could have called them any amount of things. She could have called them names. She could have whatever. Um, but that's why I say it's either in you or it's not. Because electronic benefit transfer. Thank you, Alyssa. Eating better today. Well, I feel like electronic benefit transfer sounds good. Transactions, transfer, something like that. But yeah, it's just help from the government to get food if you're not from here. Um, but yeah, I just feel like she had so many other things she could have done. But then I'm like, did she do that? Was any? I wonder. I always wonder. Did she see the story of the lady who got like $500,000 after she acted like a racist Karen? In my opinion, because I told you guys when I showed you that video of the lady at the park, I was like, she's gonna start a thing where people are gonna be openly racist and then start a freaking GoFundMe, which in this case it wasn't GoFundMe, it was a different one of the crowdsourcing things or whatever, crowdfunding, whatever it's called. Um, but I'm like, are these people now? I mean, clearly, in my opinion, if you're saying it, you're racist, but that's my opinion. But are they doing this in public like that because they think it's going to go viral and they're going to get all this money? I don't know, but it definitely is happening. Um, it's just, it blows my mind, and it shouldn't. Not in the world we live in today. But yeah, so I just don't think there's ever a justification for that. Um, something like that. Yeah. Even dumb B would have been better. There's no excuse. That's what I'm saying. Like there's so much more that you could say or not even say anything. Why even play into it? Like I get that it's hard to work in the public and it's hard. And we see all these videos of like retail workers and they're going off on people and all these things. If you're not a people person, don't work retail. And I know it's hard in the economy right now, but like just walk away. I know it's frustrating. I get it, but there are so many other things than to just be that way. I don't get it. SNAP is food stamps. So EBT, I think you can get money funds on a card and food stamps on a card. I don't know, I think they go on the same card. But yeah, you can get money benefits as well, but it goes on the card too. But SNAP is not money. SNAP is food stamps. So the only thing you can buy with it is food. You can't buy like hot food. You can't buy alcohol. You can't buy tobacco. You can't buy anything except for food. So she could have refused service, exited the situation. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. She didn't even have to. Yeah, TANF is money. TANF is money. SNAP is food. Um, but yes, she didn't even have to call him anything. She could have just walked away. So I don't know. I just had to show you guys that because, like I said, there's this whole set of people that keep every time it's mentioned, they're like, "Where's the other part of the video? Y'all ain't talking about the other part." Like, to me, it's irrelevant. Yes, they did. They shouldn't have been harassing her and changing clothes, things that they did. But it still doesn't justify, in my eyes, it does not justify her actions. So it all goes along the same card. Okay. Yeah. All right. And this is another situation that I keep seeing that I am like dumbfounded by. dumbfounded by. And I meant to show this. This was like 2 weeks ago, I believe. I meant to show it and forgot to show it to you guys, but I had to show it to you guys.
The Wells family says the experience was traumatic, discriminatory, and dangerous. And tonight they are calling for Franciscan Health Crown Point to make some serious changes. Mercedes and Leon Wells said they did everything right, calling ahead, arriving at Franciscan Health Crown Point. But after 6 hours of labor, the mom-to-be says she was given the boot. Mercedes says contractions grew just 1 minute apart, but instead of treatment, they say they discharged her while she was in active labor.
I just don't understand how, as a licensed healthcare worker, you could turn someone to the door to leave that's in excruciating pain. It's essentially like I was stripped of my dignity. I was stripped of my dignity as a person because I was treated less than an animal.
8 minutes after leaving the hospital, the couple says their worst fear became reality. On the highway, Mercedes felt the baby coming. Their daughter, Alina, was born on the side of the road, delivered by her father.
Mentally messed up because as a husband, as a father, protector, I felt like I couldn't do nothing. The nurse that wheeled us down, we had 2 nurses and a security guard because they just knew we was going to just act up.
Franciscan Health Crown Point declined to speak on camera, but in a statement said patient health is its top priority and that it has launched an internal investigation. The Wells family believes race played a role in how they were treated, and they've hired attorney Cannon Lambert, who is demanding action.
Accountability does look like a meeting with the family. We're calling for a meeting with the administrators at Franciscan. Accountability looks like making certain that the woman that made the decision to kick her out of this hospital doesn't work there anymore. She shouldn't work there anymore.
Emergency medicine experts say federal law EMTALA requires hospitals to screen and stabilize patients in labor before discharging them.
Or the Emergency
I
Medicine
don't know,
Treatment
Lindsay.
Labor Act. And this is a federal law in 1986, which all hospitals must comply. And that's 2 aspects of the EMTALA. That's we provide a screening and stabilization. And so that goes into question when you look at this video as it applies to stabilization. But again, this is not common practice.
More women are turning to doulas. Do you think that more Black women are leaning towards doulas because they've heard of these traumatic experiences within a hospital setting?
Absolutely.
As concerns about safety and mistreatment during childbirth grow, a study in the Journal of Perinatal Education found 73% of pregnant women would hire a doula if insurance helped cover the cost, and half would if it counted toward their deductible. Licensed doula Marnisha Heiner says the rising demand reflects a need for someone focused solely on a mother's well-being as stories of denied care and disparities continue to surface.
People are scared. More so women, our people feel like hospitals are not a safe space for them. So I feel like when you're hiring a doula, you trust that person to carry what you cannot carry in a very traumatic, fast-pacing experience. So the doula is there to provide educational support, physical support, and evidence-based information.
Despite making her grand debut on the side of the road mid-drive, baby Alina is doing just fine.
Okay. So, let me pop my thing back up here. There we go. Okay. So, a new bill aims to protect Black women in labor after an Indiana mom forced to give birth on the roadside. So, Representative Robin Kelly pushes for the Wells Act because this is the Wells family. So, it's going to be named the Wells Act after Mercedes Wells was turned away and gave birth in a truck, calling for hospital accountability and racial bias training. So they're calling for she's a Democratic congressman from Illinois and longtime maternal health advocate is pushing Congress to respond after a disturbing video showed a Black woman in Indiana being told to leave a hospital while she was in active labor, a decision that forced her to give birth in the truck 8 minutes later, you guys, 8 minutes. And no, I don't know where in what world you would send a mother away that was having contractions every minute. As someone who's done triage in the ER, as someone who has done triage in the ER, worked in the ER, um, done rounds in labor and delivery, because of course when they come into the hospital they're coming into the ER, and then we put them into labor and delivery. And nowhere would I, no, nowhere in my mind, first off, if I triage someone that's in labor and their contractions are a minute apart, and then we put the belly band and confirm they're a minute apart, oh, you're going straight to labor and delivery, because I'm not having a baby in my ER. Like, absolutely not. Like, the last thing I could think of in my mind is to send her home. Like, I don't know where, because again, like they were saying in the video, we are supposed to stabilize the patient before discharge. If we can't stabilize them, or we even have to stabilize before we admit, we have to have them stable before they leave the ER in some capacity, whether that be put them on a ventilator, in some way they have to be stabilized before they leave our unit. So that one, even if they're getting admitted, we still have to stabilize enough to transfer to the floor or wherever they're going. So for me, I just, at what, you could see her rolling out of the hospital, like, what, that does not look like a stable patient to me. And the fact that they had to go get security and like they were going to act up when she's in labor, like, I just don't get it. Um, but they announced the Women's Expansion for Learning and Labor Safety Act, known as the Wells Act, a new bill that would require hospitals to create a safe discharge labor plan before sending home any patients showing signs of labor. According to NBC News, the plan would include clinical justification for discharge, assessing travel distance and time, documenting patient understanding, and requiring racial bias training for health workers. Also, I think it would, yeah, we talked about that on Tuesday, Jessica, I believe. Yeah, and then we're actually going to talk about it a little bit more today. Um, But so yeah, this is supposed to be in, they're trying to get this to be put in place. It comes with the direct response to what happened to Mercedes Wells, the mother of four, and that's the next thing I get into. She was a mother of four. This was her fourth baby. We are taught in nursing school, we're taught in nursing school that a mother who has been down this road before, who has delivered babies, I mean, as you're triaging this woman, you're taking her information. So you're asking her, how many times have you been pregnant? What did your other births look like? How long were they, vaginal? Were they C-section? Did you labor for a long time? Like, and even if they did labor for 8 hours, the last one, this is her fourth baby. That baby she could be 10 centimeters, but if her contractions are what every 1 minute, she could go from 10 centimeters to babies coming out in minutes. Like, I don't understand it, and I would love to see the record, although I'll probably never get to. Um, but it says the mother of four whose story has reignited urgent conversations about how Black women are treated when seeking care. Her courage to speak out and push for change knows no bounds. Her bravery and advocacy will help other moms receive the care and treatment they deserve. This bill will also mandate racial bias training for healthcare workers, a step that they say is critical. So, she arrived at the hospital. Her contractions were 10 minutes apart. She remained there for 6 hours and never saw a doctor. She said a nurse examined her and later informed her she would be discharged. She recalled telling the nurse she felt close to giving birth, yet was still instructed to leave. Oh my God, I can't. So she's saying she never saw a doctor. So I'm assuming she saw a nurse practitioner, because what happens is, even though we have a doctor in the ER, a lot of the times, especially a busier ER, you may be seen by a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner, especially if it's classified as like a lower level emergency, or not even emergency at all. but I don't see why this would not. She even 10 minutes apart, like they should have been prepping her to go to labor and delivery. I'm not. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. The whole story. Um, but yes, I'm glad that they are pushing for change and they're doing something about it. That is the best thing for that whole thing. Okay, let's see. Watch this one. Oh man. Okay. When Polly goes wrong, does it ever go wrong? Crazy story for sure. Again, no spoilers if you recognize the story. No
First, we are
spoilers.
staying on top of breaking news that spans 2 counties and involves a chase and a body found.
Let's get straight out to 11 Alive's Galat Malamed in Rome right now. So, Galat, walk us through what investigators are telling you tonight.
And I just spoke to one of those investigators, the public information officer with the Rome Police Department, and we did just learn that it was a man and a woman who was in the car that witnesses say left this area. Officers arrived here earlier this afternoon and they found a woman's body wrapped in blankets here at John Graham Apartments. Officers, though, cleared this area about 45 minutes or so after being here for several hours. But Sky I-11 flew over the scene, showing what it looked like. Officers had a set of those apartments blocked off with crime scene tape. They were going in and out of one of the homes collecting evidence. Police say witnesses saw a red car in this area right before the body was discovered. This video shows that suspected car leading police on a chase on Highway 411 in Bartow County. Rome police say speeds reached about 100 miles per hour before Floyd police were able to take 2 people in that car into custody. That stop happened about 20 miles from this apartment complex. And Rome police are continuing to question the 2 people who they say were in that red car. We also know that they were speaking to witnesses earlier to try and learn more about what happened here. This is an ongoing investigation, and we will keep you updated.
People accused in a disturbing homicide in Rome are set to face a judge later this morning. 11 Alive Stephanie Chaynock is live outside of the Floyd County Jail Force this morning. Steph, investigators still have not released the victim's name for this case.
No, they have not, Ariana. They say last night that they were still working to get in contact with the victim's family first before releasing that name. What we do know is that the victim is a 20-year-old woman and also 2 suspects in connection to her death. They're going to be appearing in court here in Rome, Georgia in less than an hour at 9 a.m. This is pictures of 23-year-old Mystique Amaziah Taylor and 25-year-old Rolanda Monique Edwards, both in custody at this hour. Taylor facing multiple charges, including felony murder and concealing a death, while Edwards is charged as a party to the crime and also hindering apprehension. This comes after police say the 2 suspects led law enforcement on a high-speed chase Tuesday in a stolen vehicle. You're seeing that chase right there on your screen, away from where police say witnesses spotted the car before discovering a woman's body wrapped in blankets in broad daylight outside at the John Graham Homes apartment complex.
We're assuming someone maybe got spooked. Something had happened. We're trying to make sure nobody knows that something happened, and maybe we got spooked and just left.
And both suspects are being held right now without bond. Again, they will be making their first appearance in court at 9 a.m. We will be inside.
Some new details on the 2 suspects charged in connection to a disturbing homicide in North Georgia and the relationship that allegedly ties them to this victim. So police tell us the victim was identified as 20-year-old Kaylee B. Shackelford of Powell, Tennessee. So far in their investigation, police learned that Shackelford and 23-year-old Mystique Taylor were in a relationship, and that Taylor also started a relationship online with the other suspect here, 25-year-old Rolanda Edwards. Now, both Taylor and Edwards, they made their first court appearance this morning. 11 Alive Stephanie Chaynock was in Floyd County and has more details from police.
And we now know that the woman whose body was found outside of a Rome apartment complex died from being stabbed multiple times and beaten with a baseball bat this morning. 2 suspects arrested in connection to her death appearing in court this morning. This is 23-year-old Mystique Malachi Taylor and 25-year-old Rolanda Edwards, both making their first appearance in a Floyd County jail Wednesday morning, both facing multiple charges. Taylor's charges include felony murder and malice murder, while both Taylor and Edwards are charged with concealing the death of another after attempting to remove the victim's body from the apartment. Now, this comes after police say the 2 suspects led law enforcement on a high-speed chase in a stolen car. You're seeing that right here on your screen. Police say witnesses reported seeing this car before discovering a woman's body wrapped in blankets at the John Graham Homes apartment complex. Mystique Taylor remains in custody without bond, while Rolanda Edwards was granted a $5,000 bond.
So he was allegedly seeing the one girl, then he started having another relationship, and it looks like they got rid of her. The crazy part is I'm assuming that it happened inside the apartment. And as you could see there with the tent up, it looked like you could pull right up to basically the small yard in front of the apartments. And it looked like they had pulled right up there. They had stolen a car. And it looked like to be that were trying to get the body out of the apartment and into the car. And they got spooked for some reason and just dropped the body on the ground in broad daylight. And then and then once police got there, which didn't take, I don't think they said it took very long. They described there was this red car that was seen leaving the scene right before the body was discovered. So then they start looking for this red car, find out they're in a stolen vehicle, and it wasn't the best of vehicles. It was like an older car. So they took that on a high-speed chase. And it looks like she's only being charged with trying to help conceal the body and things like that. So I'm wondering if that was the internet. Oh, the internet girlfriend is the one that was with him. So I guess that was the other girl. I guess that was his longtime girlfriend. Yeah, that's what they said. So I'm assuming that that apartment was the lady who was deceased. And maybe he was there, something happened between them, and then the online girlfriend helped him to get rid of it or was trying to help him get rid of it. So it's just crazy. Your car being stolen? Yeah, I got mine stolen too, Puka. Luckily, mine was not a carjacking. Um, I thank God for that for sure. But just crazy cases. But can you imagine? I mean, just broad daylight. There's just a body laying there and it's wrapped in blankets. I mean, I'm sure they could tell by the way by the outline what it was in the blankets. All right, this one. And then another some of these stories, me too, FBI. And these stories, like if I lived in the city, I would be scared at this point to ride a train or even a subway at this point with everything going on.
20-year-old Lawrence Reed appeared before a judge earlier today. Our Leslie Moreno is live with the shocking details that led to the terrifying attack. Leslie.
Guys, good evening. Yeah, federal prosecutors say Reed had an extensive criminal history dating back as far as 2017. Prosecutors say Reed should have never been out of custody. 26-year-old woman is still in the hospital fighting for her life after police say 50-year-old Lawrence Reed allegedly set her on fire while riding the train on Monday.
I'm getting multiple calls for, the Blue Line Clark and Lake. Says a female was set on fire at the location.
The U.S. Attorney's Office announced Reed is being charged with committing a terrorist attack against a mass transportation system. According to the criminal complaint, Reed allegedly poured gasoline over the woman's head and body.
He was literally sitting down. I've seen reports that there was an altercation or that there was some kind of a disagreement or argument that took place. Those statements are inaccurate and false. She was on her phone.
The woman, fully engulfed in flames, managed to run off the train. Investigators say Reed bought gasoline at a Chicago gas station about 20 minutes before the attack. Prosecutors say Reed has an extensive criminal history. He was previously charged in 2020 in connection with the fire at the Thompson Center.
Lawrence Reed had no business being on the streets given his violent criminal history and his pending criminal cases. Reed had plenty of second chances by the criminal justice system, and as a result, you have an innocent victim in the hospital fighting for her life. Because of the swift action of CPD, ATF, and our law enforcement partners, there will be no other chances for Mr. Reed.
Prosecutors say Reed faces a maximum sentence of life in prison if convicted. That 26-year-old woman remains in the hospital tonight in critical condition.
We now know the identity of the woman set on fire during a horrific attack on a commuter train. She's 26-year-old Bethany McGee, a business analyst. Her father is a college professor of biblical studies. Cops say this lunatic poured gasoline over Bethany on a Chicago L train as she sat looking at her phone 7 days ago. Bethany tried to fight off her attacker and fled to the back of the train, but cops say the crazed man followed with a lit bottle and set her ablaze.
The female was just set on fire.
Police say Bethany, who is nearly fully engulfed in flames, tried to extinguish herself by rolling around on the floor of the train. As soon as the train came to a stop, Bethany ran out and collapsed on the platform, where bystanders tried to help and called the fire department. Bethany had burns covering 60% of her body. This photo captured her attacker strolling away. Today, outrage is growing after it was revealed that the suspect, 50-year-old Lawrence Reed, is a career criminal with 72 prior arrests.
This guy, why is he out? 72 prior arrests? She's burned.
Just 3 months ago, Reed was charged with knocking a social worker unconscious.
Lawrence Reed had no business being on the streets given his violent criminal history and his pending criminal cases. Reed had plenty of second chances by the criminal justice system, and as a result, you have an innocent victim in the hospital fighting for her life.
It's reminding many of the unprovoked murder in August of Irina Zarutska, a Ukrainian refugee who was on a commuter train in Charlotte when she was brutally stabbed. Now, a new outrage.
A brutal and vicious attack on a young woman.
Awful. Like, why was he even out in the streets to begin with? 72 arrests. And I guarantee you, some of the reason that he was out was for overcrowding. He probably had a lot of small little things or something. They probably kept letting him out because they say, oh, overcrowding. Or, obviously you could tell 72 arrests, probation's not going to work. House arrest, did they even try that? Who knows? But he should not have been, 71 too many. He should not have been walking the streets. And then they say possible life sentence. He should have a life sentence. 72 crimes, like, I guess none of them count for, maybe they don't have the 3-strike rule or something there. I don't know. Maybe they don't count for the three strikes. Who knows? I don't know what all. I know he had been arrested for like hurting other people at times too. So it's just another one of those, like, why is he even out there? And then the people, and I always say this when we talk about this kind of stuff, it's like the people who shouldn't be in jail, yeah, they committed crimes, but they're doing life sentences for like marijuana distribution or some shit, and then you have people like this who hurt people and they're allowed, a million chances. It just doesn't, the system just doesn't work. I'm wondering, I'm starting to begin to wonder, is it like designed that way? Doesn't make sense to me. Let's go to this one. It's crazy. But it definitely would make me be scared. Like, we don't have trains. I mean, we do have stuff like that, but not really like we have buses and stuff for public transport, but we don't have subways or trains like that or anything here. So, yeah, definitely designed that way. It just doesn't make sense to me. Definitely designed that, yeah. He harmed a social worker. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's hurting people before. Like, this isn't his first go around of hurting people either. Um, all right. So police affidavits have come out. This is the case that we've talked about with the mother. Somebody actually was asking about this earlier. We talked about this either last week or Tuesday. I can't remember which. But this is the Rebecca Park case, the young woman who was missing for about a month, and her body was found sadly without the baby. They still have not found the baby. They're assuming that the baby is no longer here because of that fact. But there have been some updates in the affidavit. More details have come out.
Did Rebecca Park's own mother, Courtney Bartholomew, and her stepfather, Bradley Bartholomew, plot to kill her and steal her unborn baby? And once they were caught, did they turn on each other with horrific confessions, each blaming the other for the stabbing and the brutal cesarean section? There is shocking new information that we have obtained from court documents that lay out a nightmarish he said, she said between Bradley and Courtney that you really have to see to believe. The center of the allegations is Rebecca Park, a 22-year-old woman who was 38 weeks pregnant when she was reported missing in early November. And what police describe as a desperate missing persons case is alleged to have quickly spiraled into a nightmare of murder, lies, betrayal. The charges, as filed by prosecutors, this is what it alleges: that Rebecca's body was found weeks later in a wooded area. An autopsy cited in the affidavits indicates that she had been stabbed multiple times and her baby had been cut from her womb. The investigation, according to the court documents, led detectives through a tangled web of family drama and secret relationships and what they characterize as a flood of deliberate misinformation. Now, initially, the investigative focus turned to Rebecca's own sister, Kimberly Park, who first reported her missing. The affidavit for Kimberly's arrest shows that her story kept on changing. She eventually allegedly admitted to lying to police, stating she was fed false stories by Rebecca's boyfriend, Richard Fowler, to throw suspicion onto their biological mother, Courtney Bartholomew, and her husband, Rebecca's stepfather, Bradley Bartholomew. Now, Kimberly's arrest affidavit includes her alleged confession that Fowler told her he killed Rebecca. But crucially, those specific murder allegations against Fowler appear to have gone nowhere. The murder charge that he was initially facing, open murder, that seems to have been dropped. The case against him seems to have stalled. At least for now, he is facing drug charges, but authorities say it's Courtney and Brad who are responsible. According to detectives, this was just the first layer. The more severe allegations are in the charging documents for Bradley and Courtney Bartholomew. They're both charged with first-degree murder, torture, unlawful imprisonment. There's other charges as well. The probable cause affidavits supporting those charges are chilling, to say the least. They allege a story of premeditation, of a plan to get Rebecca to their home. The documents detail how, according to the conflicting accounts that Bradley and Courtney later gave police, that Rebecca was put into a truck, driven to a remote trail, stabbed, and then, while she was there, allegedly still alive, subjected to basically a cesarean section to remove her baby. The baby, the documents state, did not survive, but the baby has not been found. And a particularly shocking element within the affidavits in the description of Bradley and Courtney once in custody, this is immediately now, they're turning on each other in separate interviews. They're pointing the finger at one another. Their recorded statements, as summarized by detectives, it presents this macabre he said, she said, each blaming the other for the stabbing and for cutting the baby out. One claims it was a revenge plot against Fowler. The other claims it was about stealing the baby. The detectives' notes from those interviews lay out what they describe as a scene of cruelty. So the allegations present a scenario involving a murdered young mother, an infant removed from her womb, dead, a sister who confessed to lying to police, allegedly, a boyfriend implicated by others in the cover-up, and the birth mother and stepfather seemingly accusing each other from their jail cells. So you want to see how detectives allege that they piece this whole case together? I know it's complicated. Well, the court documents, especially those probable cause affidavits, provide their raw, unfiltered narratives. This is Rebecca's sister. She was the one who originally reported her missing. But according to her arrest affidavit, it says that Kimberly was communicating with the detective throughout the investigation. But then, on a social media live broadcast, she accused her mother, Courtney, and stepfather, Bradley, of being involved. And when police interviewed her about that, she gave them a detailed story, that it was Courtney and Bradley that had struck Rebecca in the head, caused a seizure, and then had a friend come take the body away. But the affidavit states that just days later, after Rebecca's body was found, Kimberly apparently changed her story entirely in an interview. I want to look at that document. It quotes her new statement, quote, Park identified that on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, while she was at Richard Fowler's home, he told her that he killed Rebecca Park and that he wanted to protect Kimberly by not sharing details with her. Park said that Fowler had also been encouraging her to mislead the investigation, and it was the reason she was sharing misleading information on social media live broadcasts. And
See, that's where the shit doesn't make sense to me. They were all using, I think that I think that the sister may have special unique abilities, and I think they were using her to throw off law enforcement or something. And what I don't get is that, okay, her boyfriend slash baby daddy dated her sister and her mom allegedly. So people are saying the motive is the mother wanted the baby because she wanted the baby and because it was her ex's baby. Now the mother and her had not been like her mom didn't really raise her. She was from all intents and purposes, she was a shitty mom. And her and her mother were not on good terms. She allegedly only went to the mother's house to get an inheritance, is what they're saying, or to get something from her. Like it wasn't like she was going to hang out with her mother. So they kind of lured her there. But allegedly, the baby daddy told the sister that he's the one who did it and was telling her misleading things so that he could cover up that he did it. But now he's in jail for drug charges and says that he actually didn't do it. And now they're looking at the mother and the stepfather. So, and I will say that they have phone records that point the mother and stepfather being in the area together where the body was found. So I think that's another factor. I don't know why the baby daddy would admit to it. Who knows? It's wild.
she also allegedly said that Rebecca was stored in another location, but apparently law enforcement looked into this. There was nothing to back it up. Dave, this is like a complete 180,
Right,
and
Valerie.
it's confusing why she would allegedly lie.
Yeah, perhaps he was trying to protect her mother at one point, but then the stories keep changing, and you wonder if there's some mental issues with the sister. It's pretty clear now that this was a heinous, horrific crime caused by deranged individuals, and there is plenty of motive involved here.
But authorities don't believe Fowler was involved in the murder. He was originally arrested on open murder. That seems to have been dropped.
Right.
He's just facing drug charges. So they don't believe her account,
Right.
which also makes me wonder if she would even be a reliable witness at a trial, if she worked out some sort of deal, considering what she's facing in light of Courtney and Bradley. Is she a reliable narrator?
No, she's not reliable at all because she's been lying to police. And you have people, I saw Fowler interviewed. He didn't come across as very credible.
Just keep telling myself every minute that she's going to be found. Her and the little man are going to be safe.
This is while Rebecca was missing. And this is her baby daddy / fiance / boyfriend / mother and sister's ex-boyfriend. So this is him while she was missing, because they talk about where they didn't feel like he was credible. They thought he was lying in this interview, and he was very defensive. So I put it in here so you could see it.
Okay, having problems sleeping because for the last 2 years, every night, she's the one I was laying in bed next to.
Fowler says he knew something was wrong right away.
I tried to call her a few times because I didn't get no messages, call from her, nothing. And it's just not like her because we're together 99% of the time. When we're not, you can ask anybody, we're always on our phones messaging each other, letting us know, each other know what's going on.
Friends say Rebecca never went any.
There's that whole thing about you can ask anybody. We're, that is a very defensive statement. You can ask this one. Well, I'll call this person. It's very defensive.
Anywhere alone, and if something didn't feel right, she had a plan.
I know that Rebecca don't go nowhere by herself. I know that me and Rebecca and Paige have had a thing in mind for at least 6 years now, that if something was to go wrong, we have Rebecca's okay to call the cops and have them come look for her.
Let's go in.
Okay, that statement right there, which I did not see that interview prior to her body being found. But that statement right there is so strange, and I wish the person who was interviewing would have elaborated on that and been like, "Wait a second, what? Why would you need what do you mean that you guys have had something in place for 6 years where you have her permission to call the cops if something's not right? Like, what are you talking about? Like, why did they not press her on that a little bit? I hope the cops have seen that and they've pressed her on that because that was a weird state. Now, I can understand if you said, me and my girlfriends have this, like, because me and my kids have a safe word. So, it's like if we need any kind, like at school, or if somebody picks you up or whatever, if they don't know the safe word, then they're not safe type thing. My kids and I have always had that safe word type thing. I can understand something like that, but the way she said it at the end, that her and somebody else, she said me, Rebecca, which was the lady that was killed, and then someone else had a thing for the last 6 years that if something happened, we had Rebecca's permission to call the cops. That was strange as hell to me. Very strange statement.
So that was just the alleged obstruction case. Right now, the murder allegations are against the biological mother of Courtney, the husband, Bradley. They're both charged with first-degree murder, torture. There's a horrific charge related to the assault of a pregnant individual causing miscarriage or stillbirth. Right in the middle of the probable cause affidavit for Bradley, we get to the heart of this case. These are these recorded interviews with Bradley and Courtney after they were taken into custody. And the affidavit describes them being interviewed separately. Not a surprise there. And Dave, this is where it gets really sinister, really macabre, because they immediately start blaming each other. And the detective writes that their stories are a classic he said, she said, but obviously they have this nightmarish twist. So I want to go to the scene using the affidavit. It alleges that in Bradley's interview, he initially pointed the finger at Courtney. He's quoted as saying, "I'm sure Courtney stabbed her because she did have a hunting knife." He goes on to allege, according to the affidavit, that he was there, claimed that Courtney was the one who stabbed Rebecca and then performed this crude C-section. He said he witnessed it, that it happened on a trail behind their house, that Courtney wanted the baby for herself. Then in Courtney's separate interview, summarized in the same affidavit, she allegedly tells the opposite story. When asked, "What do you think Bradley has been telling us?" she allegedly said, "He's probably saying it's both of them." And then she lays out her version. She allegedly claims that Bradley pulled Rebecca from the car, put her in a truck, that he was the one who stabbed Rebecca and cut the baby out. And she claims he told her it was revenge against Richard Fowler for his relationship, or alleged relationship in all this. Dave, as a prosecutor here, how do you sort through that information and you're charging both of them, even though they're pointing the finger at one another?
Sometimes you just don't know what the truth is. You're dealing with untruthful individuals, and so you charge them both. You can charge them both with the conspiracy, and with the conspiracy you have to have an agreement and between two or more people and one overt act. Well, you've got that here.
And I want to go into the detective writing about the evidence that they were collecting that they say contradicts their early stories, supports elements of the crime. So for instance, the document states that early on, Courtney told police that Rebecca left her house in a mysterious black sedan with tinted windows. It was a story that sent investigators essentially down a false lead, because later in an interview, the affidavit quotes her admitting, Courtney confirmed for Detective Lieutenant Pisker that the story about the black car was made up and never happened. And the affidavit also details what detectives call consciousness of guilt actions. It states that a state trooper, while securing their home, overheard Courtney tell Bradley that the seat covers from their white Ford F-150 truck had recently been burned due to a spill. Cell phone records obtained via search warrant and outlined in the affidavit allegedly place both of their devices in the area where Rebecca's body was later found on the night she disappeared. And maybe one of the most chilling details from the forensic side, the autopsy report. Okay, it states that Rebecca had multiple sharp force wounds, that her abdomen had been cut open with the fetus absent, but it also notes a specific kind of odd finding that her stomach contained, quote, copious amounts of a blue-green chalky residue.
I don't understand. I was trying to rack my brain of what they could have made her drink because her stomach contents, I mean, that would have been, she would have had to have drank that like that day. I mean, within, a couple hours of her being deceased. But they said a bluish, like a chalky substance. So I'm wondering if they were trying to like sedate her or drug her so that they could do the C-section. I'm just like, again, I was just racking my brain thinking, what would be a blue chalky substance? I have no idea. I couldn't think of what it would. Only thing I could think of is if but chalky makes me think of like Miralax or something. They could have, maybe they gave her something like, I don't know, maybe Miralax to loosen the bowels so that it would be easier for them to get in there to the baby. Like, that's the only thing I could think of was, like, a Miralax substance. Because chalky makes me, that's what it makes me think of, like, maybe they were trying to get her bowels to move so it was easier to get to the baby. I don't know. But I also like milk of magnesia, or maybe, again, like I said, maybe they were trying to drug her with some kinda chalky substance, and who knows, but it was just very weird. Yeah, something NyQuil, but NyQuil doesn't give me, well, if it was crushed with something, that could be the chalky substance. So yeah, that makes sense, madams. That makes sense. Like a NyQuil with like sleeping pills. So that's what I'm thinking because that would be nobody's gonna drink a blue chalky substance type shit, in my opinion, probably on their own when they're pregnant. I mean, she was 38 weeks pregnant. They said days away. Some of the reports said she was in the first stages of labor. Others said she was a couple days away. So maybe ketamine, but a chalky, is it chalky? See, I don't know if it's chalky or not. But again, that could have just be what they mixed it with, or it could be this. The chalkiness could be, um, like the pills or whatever. Like oh, I don't know. It's just an awful case.
Dave, it's clear she was killed. She was brutally killed. The baby,
Ooh, castor
I think
oil.
by all accounts is dead. They don't know where it is, or we don't know. But the forensic evidence, the actual evidence here, what does that tell you about the story?
Well, it's going to inflame the jurors. The jurors are going to be outraged when they hear that he had a baby killed in this way and the mother's stomach cut open. I mean, they're going to want to find someone guilty. So that helps the prosecution.
And it's really confusing because there's these allegations like, why would he get involved? Well, if Fowler, there's been allegations that he was romantically involved with multiple women in this case.
Right. Both sisters.
So, yeah, and I think that, this is idea of like, oh my gosh, was this a revenge plot of some sort? Or did Courtney want the baby for herself in a twisted kind of
but you hit on that. That's important because the jurors want to know the why. That's the thing. They don't have to. The why motive is not an element to a murder case, but jurors want to know. And that's a compelling reason. You have this deranged mother who wants the child for herself. It's like out of a horror movie. When I saw Fowler's first interview at the beginning, when the victim went missing, it was a little deceptive, I thought. I mean, when I saw, he said, well, you can ask anyone. We were always texting each other all day. We were in touch. Just ask anyone. Like, why are you being so defensive, dude? So I think that there's a chance that he could be charged more seriously. But either way, he's still charged with a serious crime.
Look, at the end of the day, this is a awful, awful, awful killing. I mean, even before people were arrested and we talked about her body being found, your mind races to the worst possible scenario. Unfortunately, it's been confirmed by the affidavits, at the very least, about what happened to her and what happened to the baby. It's horrifying to think about. And the idea that the loved ones might be responsible, it's again, unthinkable.
It is. The fact that, like he said, the fact that it's the loved ones that could be responsible for such a like horrific crime, uh, um, I just don't understand. I mean, we see all these stories of women that they'll have friends or alleged friends or people they meet that some people fake pregnancies and get into like these mom groups and then stalk someone and get to be their friend, or they'll really be pregnant. Like, well, most of them I think are faking it, obviously. They'll fake the pregnancy, get in with the mom that is pregnant, and then their plan is to take the baby. There was one girl I saw telling her story. the girl actually didn't do it, but she said she had got close with her. Her mom had left them alone, and she said that she was giving her gifts, and she was standing. She wanted to stand behind her, and she had her like sitting on a bed, and she would like put the baby blanket over her head, and then she would let her look. And so she was like giving her the presents from behind her back, and she said she couldn't see anything, but she just felt like she was getting ready to get punctured, if you get what I'm saying. She said, I never saw the weapon. I never saw anything like that. But what happened was, um, right before like she was getting ready to puncture her, like, and something happened. Either I think somebody had came home or something. Well, she had went out of the room and left the girl in the room by herself. Next thing you know, her room was on fire. And so the girl tried to burn her, like, with her in the like, try to trap her in the room and burn her down, I guess, to get the baby. Like, she tried everything. Come to find out when they got the woman's bag, the one that she was, like, bringing the presents out of, there were 2 weapons in there. And so the girl, was saved or whatever, but it's just crazy the lengths people will go, to try to steal somebody's baby. All right, let me get this update because I saw this update. In this case, it's definitely a confusing one, but I know when it comes time, when it all comes out, it's going to be a huge case, probably documentaries and everything. So I've been trying to keep up with it, but it is such a winding up and down case.
Watching in this situation with the singer David is a totally different side of, again, highs to lows and what is going on. So many different nuances that get thrown into this case.
Yeah, it's another really unique story. And it's a tragic story because you've got this poor girl who was only 14 years old who lost her life. And that's the bottom line here. I think a lot of people believe that the investigation has been taking far too long. I'll say they've got the most, elite team of detectives in Los Angeles, the robbery homicide division here, who is working on this case. There just has not been much movement. David is a suspect, but he has not been accused of a crime, and he certainly has not been arrested nor charged. There is a grand jury that is happening right now in Los Angeles. It's not necessarily, the mission isn't necessarily to charge somebody, although that is the hope at some point. But the idea is sort of to use it as an investigatory tool to accumulate information. And because of that, they have called witnesses. There was David's manager who testified for about 3 days in front of the grand jury. That ended yesterday. They were grilling him and asking him, and we know this because he was overheard talking to his attorney in the courtroom, or in the hallway rather, during a break. But the grand jury and the deputy district attorney was grilling him about not calling the police. We don't know the context of it, though, but he was getting grilled over not calling the police. So that was the line of questioning that he said they were really digging into him about. Did he perhaps see something? Obviously, there could be a lot of different explanations for that. Bottom line, the grand jury happening right now. David is a suspect. This poor 14-year-old girl has lost her life, and that's sort of where we are.
And he was on tour, right? When all this, when her body was discovered, we keep showing video of the Tesla right there. Her body was discovered there.
Yeah.
In terms of, so this guy, with regard to the grand jury situation right now, is this person being so uncooperative? Is there an uncooperative witness that is part of the situation that is on the verge of getting arrested herself? Is that the case?
That's exactly right. So it's one of the other people that they hope to speak with as part of this grand jury is a female witness. We're unclear who she is or how she may be connected to the case, but she has been uncooperative, so much so that the district attorney is considering getting something called a body attachment, which is similar to an arrest warrant, but essentially what it would be is that law enforcement would go and find this witness and literally take her back, and in handcuffs if necessary, to the to the grand jury room rather, where she would be then made to testify. So again, it's unclear who she is and how she's connected to the case, but they really want to talk to her. So I would think that would indicate that she's someone who may play an important role here.
All right, keep us posted, sir.
And finally, an arrest seems like it's imminent in the David case.
But not for who you think.
but not of David. But I think you need to get to the kingpin. You need to get through his people and get them to say everything they need.
For sure. We have now. I mean, as far as I know, no one knows where David is.
No one knows where this guy is, but I don't know.
And I just want to make this very clear. The only statement that was ever released from anyone on David's side throughout this entire saga was the fact initially when the body was found in his car, a rep for him or someone associated with him said he is fully cooperating with cops, and that was it.
And we haven't heard from him.
And that was the only thing they ever said.
Right.
And which turns out doesn't seem to really be true.
People's impatience about like David not getting arrested has led them to think that everybody's in on it, covering up for him. It's just like, wow. But anyway,
this grand jury is still going down.
And finally, arrest seems like it's imminent in the David case, just not of David. And but I think they're working their way up to David. They're trying to get someone, a female, to flip on him. Now, this female can either be someone he works for or with, someone professionally in his circle. Could be a family member, could be a romantic connection.
What did he say?
We don't know.
Could be someone who may have known what happened to Celeste.
And for some reason, this woman doesn't want to talk. And I don't know why someone wouldn't want to talk in a murder / pedophiles investigation. Someone says, I'm not going to talk.
Because I think it could get complicated, right? Like, if you were close, say, to someone who is being accused of doing this, but I feel like sometimes people are blinded, right? Like you're like, oh, I know this person. They would never do it.
But I think if a jury is telling you want to testify, you're refusing.
Once cops get involved and the court system, it's like your hands are kind of tied.
It's someone extremely close to him or has extremely sensitive information.
So get into how this came out.
So at the courthouse, the grand jury is convened and the lawyers talk openly in the hallways.
Which is kind of weird to me.
It's really weird to me.
Because like we discussed earlier this week, his road manager, David's, Robert Morgenroth, was the one that was spotted going into, he's a witness in this, the grand jury case. And he was spotted in the hallway with his attorney, and then he's been going in and out. And so,
that same attorney seems like she represents a woman who has not come forth. So Robert and this, I don't know who this other witness is, they're represented by the same lawyer, which is a little bit of, does that mean they work together? Does that mean they're both on David's team? It's interesting the same lawyers representing
that's actually
people.
A good point. I didn't think about that. Because if it was...
She's clearly on David's team, in my opinion. She's being uncooperative. They're saying that she's someone very close to David. They just interviewed his... What was it? He was like his manager or something, or he was his day-to-day assistant or whatever. So he was with him day after day. And now they go from grilling him for like 3 days straight to now they're focusing in on this female, and they're frustrated because she's not cooperating. I'm sure they do work on the same team. That's probably why she's being uncooperative.
Just some other random person in his life, it would be odd to me that they would both have the same.
They have the same lawyer as
the
president of the record label, or Mogul Records, or whatever. So Evan Janice, who represents Robert, who's the manager, one of the managers. They went up and they talked to Beth Silverman.
That's the deputy DA who's handling this.
Yes. And Silverman told Janess she planned to have a judge issue a body attachment to force a female witness to testify before the grand jury.
Damn.
So we don't know who the female witness is, but clearly.
And the context of this is that what we're being told is that Beth Silverman was frustrated because this female witness no-showed.
Why would you no-show? Why would you no-show? You no-show because you've got something to hide? Nah. Something to hide or someone to protect.
Had work?
Had work? Is that good enough?
I don't know.
Madam.
I think when it comes to the courts and law enforcement, that kind of I think you call out of work.
We're at the stage where I think the prosecutors need people to flip on David.
I was going to say,
they're clearly frustrated.
And they're
that
frustrated.
People that they think that could actually, put the, I guess, sway a jury. These people that they need are like not down.
Well, I think that's promising though. That's promising. Why wouldn't they be down to cooperate? Because they know something, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you have nothing to hide, why wouldn't you go in there?
That's my assumption. So I think this David thing is really, the train is moving.
Train is moving.
Finally.
Do you think I don't really know too much about how long these grand juries go on, but do you think, I know you've been like all over this, that you think someone will be arrested by the end of this year or no?
Do you think
David or somebody? I mean, I'm saying, do you not even David, but do you think a suspect that was involved in the Celeste Rivas, not just to come before a grand jury, but that was actually involved in her death, will be arrested?
Before the end of the
we only got like what, 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Oh, before the end of the year, nah.
Yeah,
before the end of the year,
I don't think so.
But because they need more, they clearly need more.
Yeah,
and
They clearly need more. Now, at the beginning of the freaking video, and even on all the headline things, they're like, an arrest is imminent. Somebody's about to be arrested. And then he asked him, here it is, December 11th. And then he asked him, do you think anybody will be arrested by the end of the year? And he says, no, they need more. Well, how the hell is an arrest imminent? Well, I guess they're talking about this female lady. She's supposed to get like a body attachment, meaning they're going to make her come down and testify for the grand jury, I guess. But to me, that's not the same as a freaking arrest. It's just not. Yeah, exactly, Dawn. It's gonna drag out for a while, in my opinion, and it just is just. It seems like they're trying to cover up. And why would the lawyers speak in the hallway? Not only that, is that what they're saying so that they can out information and make it seem like they overheard it when they're actually getting a direct source? Who knows? I bet you if they were getting info because the lawyers were talking in the hallway, I bet you the lawyers won't be talking in the hallway anymore. Um, People are going to solve the case before the police. I feel like the police at this point should have most of it solved. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And the more they talk, it's like, I mean, it's like video after video talking about this arrest is imminent, and then it's like, well, we don't think anybody's going to be arrested soon. I haven't heard anything about the other body that was found in the other tow yard burned. I don't remember that. I have to look into that. Oh, you know it. That's what I'm saying, Valerie. And they know it too, or they should. But again, are they just saying that to cover whoever's ass it is? Because a lawyer could talk to another lawyer about some stuff like that, but they can't talk, like, another lawyer on the case or whatever. That could happen and somebody overhear it. But a lawyer can't just give a source. They can't be a source, or paralegal can't be a source. So I'm just wondering if that's a cover up, like, oh, we heard him in the hallway, just to cover someone's ass. We were talking about the David case, and how they allegedly heard the lawyers speaking in the hallway, and that's how they got some of this information that's coming out. We were just talking about whether they actually heard the lawyers, or somebody's just covering their ass and saying that, or covering someone else's ass by saying that. Um, yeah, Valerie, that is strange for sure to have two like that. I think I remember there was something, somebody was, I think we did talk about, I think I did mention it at one point, but I'm like you, I don't remember hearing anything after that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of True Crime. I will be back next Tuesday with another episode. So see you next Tuesday, unless you follow the malarkey, and I will be back with that soon. I'll see you tonight for that. So I probably will only be on for about an hour and a half, maybe an hour. So it'll be a quick one, but yeah, I hope to see you there. There's no protocol anymore. It seems like they do what they want. And yeah, and then they're having all this inside stuff with the medical examiner and the LAPD, and it's just a lot. So, and in my opinion, I think a lot of it comes from they know that he has money to fight things. So I feel like because they know he has money to fight things, or because of money involved, period, somewhere, they're being either extra careful or something else. But I will see you guys back in a little bit. Bye.